Broadcast for shooters, hunters, and gun enthusiasts. This is the Firearms Radio Network. The bandwidth for this episode of the AR-15 podcast is sponsored by Patriot Patch Company. PatriotPatch.co.
Welcome to the AR-15 podcast. This is the podcast about your favorite black rifle. This show is for you. Whether you're building your first AR or you've been building ARs for years, there is something we can all do to take our black rifle to the next level.
You make this show possible by clicking through our Brownells and Amazon affiliate links. The next time you order online, go to AR15podcast.com and click through our Brownells and Amazon affiliate links. It doesn't cost you anything extra, and a small portion of your sale goes to supporting pro-gun radio like the AR-15 podcast.
Well, welcome to another episode of the AR-15 podcast. We're up to episode number 158 tonight, and we've got our regular crew of usual suspects, but tonight we're just gonna kind of shoot the bull, chew the fat, see what's going on, and probably just touch on a couple of the things that the listeners send in that oftentimes isn't enough for a whole show and really is a little too much for simple feedback. But guys, it's good to see you again.
Yeah.
I just don't feel like we get a chance to hang out and do this too often. How have you all been?
Things are going pretty well out here in PA. We had, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 days of solid winter. It was like 50, 55 degrees at the range yesterday. I don't know what's going on. I'm kind of hoping for a little bit more snow, though. Got to make a little bit of use of the four-wheel drive.
It's 70 degrees out here.
Yeah, when was the last time you saw snow, JD?
I was driving back from Los Angeles a couple weekends ago, and on the mountain pass saw snow. I wasn't sure what it was. It's been about 12 years since we've had remarkable snow, but it's supposed to be 70, 75 all week this week. So
that's not bad. Yeah, we're kind of in between. 50s for a low, 70s for a high. And then today it's like 30s at a low, 50s for a high. And it goes back and forth. It just depends on the day. Other than that, just the same old stuff. I don't think we're going to get any snow this year. But that's all right. I don't have any like Arctic gear that I need to like haul out and trudge through the snow to see if it works. So I'm good. Hey, JW, did you still have that rifle that you painted white from last year? Or did you redo that?
Oh, it's still white. I don't know. You might be able to see it kind of hanging up over there. Yeah, I haven't been able to take it out in the snow yet, but that's what I'm waiting for.
What do you mean you haven't been able to?
Well, because there's been no snow on the ground.
Oh, I see.
I got to do a photo shoot for somebody for a snowboard that they're giving away, and there just hasn't been any snow, so we haven't been able to do the photo shoot. But this would probably be a good accessory for the giveaway. Maybe bring that along with the photo shoot.
Yeah, when we live in an armed snowboarder America, I'm going to be really confused. So
that's what the Olympic biathlon's all about.
No, they don't snowboard. They cross-country ski. It's a little more refined.
Some snowboarding and some modern sporting rifles and make our own little American variant.
Oh yeah, I don't think so. I don't want to enter a sport that I have to risk the potential of serious cranial damage and have to wear a helmet. And then I'd have to work really hard. That's not easy stuff. My days of working that hard are long behind me. I get to sit behind a desk and not work as hard. Well, guys, what are we what do we got on the topic? Just chewing the fat. So, JW, tell me about your 3-gun monthly trip.
Yeah, so we've got a local range here. It's called Clareton Sportsman's, and there's a couple guys that are ROs for the range. They also do some training on the side that RO this event once a month. They call it a 3-gun action shoot sort of thing. It's very unofficial. There's no timers. There's no score sheet or anything like that. And it's really grown a lot over the last 2 years or so. We must have had a good 40 guys yesterday, and they had the typical 4 bays set up, and they actually had to expand it onto 2 other ranges. So we had 6 full bays running all morning into the afternoon. Like I said, the weather was gorgeous, and there's 4 kind of like 20, 25-yard pistol bays. There's a 100-yard rifle bay and like a maybe 30 to 40-yard pistol bay down the hill. And yeah, they've set up each bay a little bit different. They had some barricades, some kind of mock rooms and walls set up. There's some with steel, some with paper targets. They had some steel that was a lot closer that you could only really use the shotgun on with birdshot. There's some kind of intermediate steel for pistol only. There was some rifle stuff with a lot of running where you had to pop off a 100-yard shot, run up 75 yards and do one of those like VTAC barricades with all the positional holes, work that, come up real close to the targets and empty your pistol, run back to the 100-yard range, shoot another long one. You're racing alongside another guy, waiting for him at each stage. Obviously, it's not like you could get ahead of him and head back to the 100-yard range and shoot over him or anything like that. But that was a good one for kind of seeing what happens when you get your heart running a little bit. But yeah, it's really cool to see kind of everybody's setups, what they end up bringing. Obviously, it's like 90% ARs nowadays. Every once in a while, you'll see a Tavor. There was a couple MP5s. That's what me and my buddy ran, was just MP5s the whole time. We did the pistol stages and the carbine stages with those. And that was a good time. You don't see too many of those, and it was real quiet, so we could run without ear pro and stuff like that. But yeah, a ton of ARs, some pretty fancy ones. We saw some of those like factory, the gray ones from BCM that they partnered with Haley Strategic on. There were 2 of those, I think. There was a couple kind of just regular old ARs with some real nice aim points and EOTechs and all that on them. And everyone was having a good time. Obviously, when you get together with that many other gun owners, you're going to find kind of people break off into groups. Maybe they know each other, or they shot with each other before. They might have something in common. Some guy pulls out a wacky rifle. Everybody's got questions about it. It was a good time, and one of the things that I was really happy about was I met another guy that I've kind of followed on Instagram a little bit, and it was like, hey, are you JW Ramp? Like at JW Ramp? Oh yeah, that's me. And got to talking and talked some photography. He was just kind of getting into it. I kind of walked him through how to use all the settings on his DSLR, and so I mean we were in the middle of a rifle range, but talking cameras, and it was just a great time. So it always impresses me how positive and welcoming everybody at the range always is. It seems like you kind of get a little discouraged sometimes when you're watching online and seeing the fights and the bickering and the trolling and just everything that happens in the industry. And when you get out on the range with just kind of your everyday gun owner, I think a lot of that falls away. There's some guys that are, yeah, they're keyboard commandos and they're still complaining about all the regular stuff from the forums, but for the most part, your average American gun owner is out there to have a good time, to do a little bit of work on their basic carbine skills, and everybody seemed to have an open mind, willing to learn something when they were out on the range. So, as usual, just a great time and a good way to practice and to kind of add a little bit of direction to your range visit rather than just kind of blasting away at a piece of paper, moving around and trying some different things, getting to test your kit, see what works, what doesn't. So, yeah, if you see something like that locally, just get out there. If you're brand new, if you think you're the hottest shooter ever, get out there and meet some of your local shooters.
I'd be down for that if they had like a golf cart segment where I could jump in a golf cart and go from stage to stage.
Yeah,
I've always wanted to do it.
I'm all about a 75-yard golf cart ride. Hold on, let's get the cart.
No, I mean, one of them was set up like a pistol qual. One of the MUSOC, actually it was a carbine qual with just a little bit of pistol in it, and there was a couple parts of the qual where you were hopping down into prone, getting back up, and there was one guy that just wasn't his capability, and that was totally cool. He shot everything standing, or he took a knee, and I mean, guys understand if you want to kind of modify things to make sure that you're safe, that you're comfortable, that you're not getting too banged up.
Right.
Maybe you got a fancy tactical jacket that you don't want to get any holes in. There's definitely that factor out there.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know, I think the closest organized 3-gun event to me is 2.5 hours away. So to me, that seems like a bit too much of a drive.
You could do that once a quarter.
Yeah, but this is like a monthly or a bi-weekly 3-gun event, so.
Well, bring your microphone and say you're doing it for the podcast. And
yeah, you guys are lucky I get a chance to hang out with you as it is.
It is the season. I'm still waiting on a couple pieces of paper to come in, but it is the season for you, I'm sure. You've been pretty busy.
Yeah. But so.
How about you, JD? Have you been out shooting recently? Take anything to range?
I got to spend a couple hours doing some handgun training with a guy here in town. Went out to the Las Vegas Metro SWAT range, so it was cool to check that out, and they have a beautiful facility out there. Learned a lot. Just one of those guys where you just shut your mouth and listen and take in everything you can. And he actually got me to make my first non-rifle purchase in probably about a year and a half. Bought a Glock 17 out of the back of a truck in a Denny's parking lot this weekend, which is legal here in Nevada.
Is it?
Yeah, we both had CCWs, signed a bill of sale, we shook hands. It was a great old American gun deal, totally legal. May not be come this November with some of the stuff we have coming down the pipe, but actually a big thing happening this weekend for me, taking my wife out to go shooting. That hasn't happened in 6-7 years. She hasn't had any interest, so
Wow.
hopefully that loosens the purse strings a little bit more if she gets out there and likes it.
No, that's fantastic.
Now you're going to stack the deck in favor of that result, aren't you?
Oh, she's not shooting
You're gonna
anything
take,
with
like, chocolate-covered strawberries and, a fancy basket to the range and anything it takes to make her happy and make it a more pleasant experience, right?
There's the balance between making her happy and being welcome back at the range, I think. Go there, so.
Yeah, but we're talking purse strings. You can find another range.
That's true.
I've found that chicks dig subguns, so if you've been eyeing a 9mm AR build or an MP5 or something like that, it's definitely a hit with the ladies.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah, not my generation. Sorry to burst your bubble, JW. So, have you guys been, well, I guess we all have been, following this whole Facebook thing? And I don't know that we've had anything directed at us, but of course, I think pretty much the entirety of the network and probably anybody that has a Facebook presence has really begun to think of Plan B as soon as the Facebook Nazis decide to come and shut down the pages. So, you guys have any thoughts on what's going on here?
Knowing plenty of my friends that actually work at Facebook, I don't know if I classify them as Nazis.
Now, wait a minute. They're socialists, right? Democratic socialists?
Social mediaists?
We do want to be on Facebook after this show, okay?
Yeah. Now, wait a minute. This isn't on Facebook. Now, I think we'd be in trouble if we were like bad-mouthing Google. Bunch of fascists.
Well, so the story is Facebook has taken the stance that, like selling crack cocaine on Facebook, firearms fall in that same category. And it's not like you're using a Facebook financial transaction feature to buy it now, you put the AR in your cart, and then they ship it to your address. That's not it at all. It's just a listing post. It's like Craigslist, something like that. But Facebook has come out saying that they're not cool with that, and they've been actively shutting down pages where that happens. So there's been a whole number of pages, both local and national, reaching gun listing pages that the admins have received shutdown notices, and their pages are gone. Mm-hmm. Other guys, I'm sure you're seeing updates in your notifications saying, hey, this group changed its name, so it's not gun sale anymore. It's just kind of tactical gear or something like that. And so guys are looking elsewhere to actually list what they might have for sale or what they're looking to purchase.
Now, wait a minute. I just want to know something. Are these Facebook employees you're talking about, are they the same ones whose mothers go up and wait in the lobby to bring them a hot lunch?
Oh, my gosh.
I don't know what you're talking about. Is that like an old person reference?
No. I'm just wondering exactly when this whole idea of, this paternalistic helicopter social media, mom decided that it was the thing to do, And when you start off, when you start off with just like selling crack cane, a drug that is illegal and that is certifiably dangerous, it's not quite the same thing as someone selling a firearm legally.
Or listing a firearm to carry out a sale through an FFL completely legally.
Well, even if it isn't through an FFL, because it's person-to-person, face-to-face, legally done in a state that permits it, because it's not against the law in that state or in the federal system, once again, it's something that's vilified by this whole generation of nimrods that don't understand basic concepts like facts, reality, truth. How about laws?
Well, first things first, I want to tag this show with crack cocaine just so we see what kind of feedback we get when we upload the podcast. But the black helicopter theory is that the White House, with the new executive actions, has put some back channel pressure on Facebook to ban these kind of sales. Now, knowing that I'm a part of several groups, and every time in that thing is from my FFL to yours, or if it's a local group, a face-to-face transaction. We don't even have a blue card registration for handguns anymore here in the state of Nevada. The governor did away with it. But most transactions, 90% of guns transactions, are happening at police substations, mostly in Reno or in Las Vegas. So there's still, meeting at a place that's deemed safe. A face-to-face transaction is still legal here, but most gun owners are asking for a CCW, which you don't have to do the background check if you have a current CCW or an old blue card that shows that you actually went to the Metro Police Station and had it done. So so that's the kind of the rumor going around. Another thing that has happened is a lot of Pro 2A pages, a lot of gun pages have gone down. That is not something that Facebook is doing directly. That is something we can thank the 1 million moms for gun control, or every town or whatever. They are going through these pages and they are reporting them. So automatically Facebook is pulling them down.
So say Freddie, Facebook employee, sees 500,000 complaints against a page and telling them to remove it, they'll probably take it down
without any verification or anything. And so you just have to contact Facebook and work through the process to get it back. And a lot of the Pro 2A pages are coming back. And in fact, a lot of the FFL pages, the legitimate business pages, Facebook is also working with them to update, I guess, terms of service are in the About section that states, hey, we're a legal FFL, this is the way we do it. So it's just one of those bumps in the road, and every million moms against whatever they're against today have decided to make this their personal vendetta, and it just happened to hit at the right time.
I think this can all be traced back to that point in time where everybody got a trophy. I'm just saying.
except for the gun owners.
No, it's not that. It's that, at the end of the day, you have to acknowledge that sometimes you don't win. You can't have two winners in a contest of two people.
But everybody's a winner, Reed.
Yeah.
And for me, it comes down to it's not something I'm paying for. It's a company that can make whatever decisions they want. It's just unfortunate that the political...
No, wait a minute. No, they can't. They have shareholders. There are expectations. Their expectation is to make money. It's not there for free. It's there for a purely capitalistic endeavor. And when Nimrod gets behind it and decides, oh, well, wait a minute, this is some great moral injustice that I need to step up to the plate and correct, it's like, really? Exactly where is your authority to be Mr. Moral Prerogative? So, I think it's really asinine, that's all I'm saying.
They were down 6% last week, so... maybe that's why they're being a little bit helpful with some of those pages.
I don't know. I'm just thinking that, really, if you take away all the cool stuff, why the hell are the men going to be there? I mean, the other half of... okay, well, the men that aren't, gun-loving, whatever.
Just digging himself a hole.
They're going to be there. I don't think that's a hole. I'll keep yapping.
So there's some alternatives that have kind of popped up. I know there's definitely plenty of forums out there where guys have been using the forum features to list their stuff for sale for ages.
When are they going to go back to the listservs? I mean, isn't that old school? I mean, I remember going to listservs and remember the BBS? No? I'm seeing blank stares from you guys. Yeah, JW, I don't even think you were born when they had BBSs.
They didn't have color photography back then. So everything was a black rifle back then.
So what's the story on Instagram, guys?
I believe they're owned by Facebook, so basically the same rules apply over there. So
yeah.
So wait a minute. Are you saying gun porn is off? No more.
No, I think it's alive and well.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there are alternatives and other social media sites that are stepping in, but make sure you do your due diligence to check out where you're landing, and make sure you're not landing somewhere, not to be all tinfoil hat and everything, but if we all flock to a certain site, that certain site's run by somebody who's tied with somebody else, just make sure you know where you're going before you get there.
Mm-hmm. You never know who's going to be collecting data on you.
Yep.
So, I have to tell you, I've been having the the devil of a time trying to find a trigger. I'm a fan of the SIGs. I have a 239, and it's like the redheaded stepchild. I know you two understand that concept. The redheaded stepchild of the SIG line, and they discontinued the short trigger for the 239. Now they sell it for all of the other pistols. The 229, 225, 220, 228, 226. I mean, really? The one pistol that I carry, I can't find the trigger I want for it. So I think I'm going to be forced to actually buy a whole pistol to get the trigger.
I thought you were going to say buy a Glock.
Now, why would I buy a Glock?
Because we've been telling you that for months and months.
Yeah, I'm never going to buy a Glock. I already own a Glock. I only wanted one Glock. It was a G20. I think it's great, but no, I'm not going to buy another one. I'm out. If I have to buy a Glock, I'm done. No. Heck, I bought a SIG 320, P320, so that I wouldn't have to buy a Glock.
So you were telling us what you're looking at doing, and you wanted to buy an old SIG with the trigger you're looking for to put it in your gun.
Out. Yes.
So
absolutely.
Why don't you just like the gun that you buy with that trigger? Wouldn't that be what you're looking for?
No, because really the only ones that I've seen that are anywhere floating out there are all 9mm. I carry 357 SIG. Mine's chambered for 357 SIG.
Ah, you special snowflake.
No, I'm just very particular about my choices.
Okay.
I'm not indiscriminate. I won't buy the everyman's pistol, JD.
Do you only shoot frangible too, because you're only carrying inside of airplane cabins?
Nope. I carry Hornady.
Okay. So you're not secretly an air marshal?
Yeah, no.
Okay.
No. I'm telling you that if I had a badge and credentials to be an air marshal, I would not be waiting in line at the check-ins. Although I think that'd be pretty cool to be able to like jump to the front of the line, get your pick of the seats.
I don't think it's quite that plush.
Yeah, actually it is.
I think you're riding in the jump seat both ways.
No. I was talking to one of our FRN alum who is a law enforcement officer who has certain credentials and benefits, and it really is that plush. But it's kind of a interesting club, he tells me. And then, of course, I have a cousin who's in the Secret Service who was talking about flying across country on duty in a commercial plane. But I got to tell you, that must be an interesting thing to be like one of the few people on board that everybody who works there knows is armed. Of course, nobody else knows, but but yeah, apparently it's very nice. You get to get on board first, meet the flight crew. Everybody loves you. They take special care of you.
I was just jealous of the guy that went to a Lakers game with us a couple weekends ago. He's a Metro cop, so he got to carry in Southern California when nobody else did.
Yep. With what was it with great power comes great responsibility? Maybe that's what it is. I don't know that having that power all the time is all it's cracked up to be in this day and age, but God bless him. So, JW, tell us about the Haley Sling. I've been seeing traffic about that.
Yeah, I just picked it up recently. It's real lightweight. I put it on my SBR here. Ta-da! And so it's got the QDs. It's one of those convertible 1.2 points. So there's this connector here with a QD in it that's maybe 6 inches from the other end. So you can clip it into the sling into that, and then you got yourself a 1 point. It just real lightweight, like 1-inch webbing, and then there's a little pad that's not quite rubberized. It's almost like the soft shell of a jacket. So it's real smooth. Put it on this, ran it yesterday. I don't know if I might need to adjust the length a little bit, but when I set it up as a lefty, the kind of the spot where the QD goes for 1 point ended up kind of rubbing against my neck when I was lifting my gun up and down, and it was just kind of poking into me, kind of weird. So I might need to mess with that a little bit on the length of the sling. But in general, it's a great low profile sling, especially if you've got one of those stocks where they kind of advertise putting the big rubber band on it to stow your sling. This one folds up real nice, so it'd be small in that compacted, folded, rubber banded position to be able to just pull it right out and go and not be real bulky in the collapse position. So yeah, I like it. I was kind of thinking about it because of all the Haley controversy that's been blowing up with this Panteo video of him shooting an AK, and I don't know, it was just a mess. It reminds me of how nasty the industry can get when people are trying to make a point or trying to get page views or whatever their motivations were. Things got kind of nasty there the last couple days. So I don't know. I like his products. I'll keep supporting them, and this one's been working good for me.
So where did you get it? Directly from his site?
Yeah, exactly. I saw it hit on Instagram, actually, and was like, hey, I'll give that a go. Need a new kind of lightweight sling. I was switching my SBR from clips over to QD because of the nice QD slot on the bottom of that Law Tactical folder, and it fit the bill.
Well, what do we have? Ooh, I put this in here. So, have you guys taken a look at KAK Industries, KAK Industries?
Do they do AK stuff?
You know, I haven't seen anything that's AK. I think what they have been is an OEM manufacturer, you know, making other people's stuff to spec.
Okay.
But they make barrels, and they make some other things. Hold on a second.
I think Reed's receiving a fax.
This silence brought to you by the Patriot Patch Company.
Must be something from his, whatever that was, BBS board. Being automatically printed out from the fax machine.
Could be from his AP machine, you know, the printer going off with the nightly
the headlines.
No. That's a fan on my heatsink, my CPU, getting ready to stop and probably melt my CPU, start my computer burning. So if I drop off, you guys just hang with it.
Just power through.
Yeah, power through. But
No,
that's
so you were talking about KAK.
Yeah, so they've come out with a line of their 9mm barrels. They're coming out with some really variable lengths, but you know, it's their value line, and you know, well, I'll be damned. So you're gonna have to bear with me, guys. Why don't you carry on, and I'll see what I can do to fix my end of the technical problems here.
I saw it come up on the AR-15 news feed for those 9mm barrels. I bet he still has his headphones on.
Today, look at this. I will make that into a link. That where it says 9mm barrels. It's the cutest little barrel.
Dang. That's tiny. Let's see. You got those patches by you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why don't we talk about those?
Cool. I just got a package from Jake in the mail, and it included 2 little goodies from the Patriot Patch Company. Here I got the modern musket patch. It features an AR-15. Actually looks like an M16 A1 with a whole bunch of steel mags and rounds littered on the bottom of the patch there. It's nice. And also the Wolverines patch here featuring an AK
Nice.
ripped above the head. So yeah, these are a couple of the newer patches from Patriot Patch. They're PVC, so they're 3D. They got a nice texture to them. So yeah, big thanks to Jake. Go ahead and visit the website at patriotpatch.co. You can pre-order some of the new ones that are coming out. One that I threw in the show notes there was the Endless Possibilities patch. Pretty awesome. It's got a AR lower. That'd be a perfect one for the listeners of the show here. So definitely take a look over there at patriotpatch.co.
Yeah, that new one looks really sharp on that Endless Possibilities. They're doing some great things over there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like the caliber ones too. Those little round ones.
Yeah. And they help with the bandwidth and all sorts of stuff here at the AR-15 podcast. So when you shop with them, you're helping us out, you're helping Jake out. And they've got all sorts of T-shirts and new pre-orders that are up there, patriotpatch.co. And, it is getting late where Reed is. Maybe you fell asleep?
He is an old man. I tend to do that.
All right. I'm going to jump down to one of these feedback items from Facebook that we got. Speaking to you, I'm also curious in this too, as I am looking to pick up my first can. Matt Kinnison wrote in and said, did you guys get a chance to look at the Silencer Go Hybrid? If so, maybe some thoughts about it. Would also love to hear JW's thoughts on the idea of a multi-caliber suppressor. JW, I'm kind of torn right now between the Saker 762 and the Omega. I'd like it to do 5.56, 300 blackout, and of course 308. Just trying to figure out which one's the best. It's my first one, so not really that versed in them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the hybrid is brand new. I'm not sure if they're shipping it yet or not, but it basically gives you the widest caliber range that I've seen in a can. Normally, like you've got a 30 cal can, you can do 5.56 or 308, 300 blackout. You could get a 45 can, and you can shoot 9, sometimes 40 and 45. This one actually expands that to some really out there stuff that you didn't even think about silencing. Maybe you've got 458 SOCOM, you got 4570, 300 Win Mag, all the really big stuff you can actually silence with it. But you can run it all the way down to some of the small bore handgun rounds. So it's one of those do everything cans, kind of like the 30 cal cans used to be. It seemed like everyone came out with a 30 cal can that you'd run on all your carbines. The hybrid seems like the next kind of expansion of that concept. and letting you silence all sorts of things. Your lever guns, your I don't know, like AK pistols would probably be great too. So it's I think a wider product range. I haven't looked at the specs for how the weight compares. As far as if you're really trying to shave ounces, whether it's any heavier because of that larger volume and internal diameter. But that'd probably be something to compare if like you were only going to be using it on a 5.56, whether it'd be worth it to have that expanded adaptability. It's 7.6 inches long, so that's a little bit long.
Trying to find a release date on it. I don't see.
Yeah, I think they're supposed to announce something here in the next like January, February range for when they're going to be shipping them.
It'd be nice if it was out, hopefully before we end that 180-day period. Now for rifle, which one do you have? Any of the Silencer Co. cans?
Just the Osprey 45, which is the kind of rectangular pistol can one.
So I asked the question on the Facebook page the other day. I'm just kind of stuck between the Saker and the Omega. Seems like you ask for opinions and it's 50-50 on each side.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, I want to say the Saker is probably built to be a little bit more rugged, whereas the Omega is like a lighter weight version. The Saker you can run full auto and just really beat it up, whereas the Omega, like the materials in it themselves, aren't quite as rugged, and so you save weight on that. But the sound that you get out of it's probably very similar.
Okay. And I think we have Reed back.
I think I've solved my problem.
I was leaving the door open there for JW to come in, but so while you were gone, Reed, we discussed the patches from the Patriot Patch Company. We took care of Matt's question on the hybrid from Silencer Co. And so now we can talk about Brownells, their Aero Precision AC-15 rifle with the was it Crush Love or something like that we saw?
Yeah, they're putting up a Valentine's themed Aero Precision campaign here. So the AC-15, it all starts with a simple crush. No, I saw Levy talk about this, and he's the Brownells. I guess he's one of their gunsmiths, but he talks about a lot of their products. I know that he's the product manager for a lot of the AR-15 stuff, but he basically pointed out that here's an Aero Precision rifle, and I'm a real big fan of their stuff. I put hands on a lot of stuff that they have, but it's selling for $6.99. It's a great rifle. It's got a lot of the stuff that you look for in a rifle, and you can't. Excuse me, that was a sneeze. You can't beat what they've put into it for the price. And Aero Precision makes some good stuff. I've never been dissatisfied with anything that they've put together or put out there. So, $6.99 I think is a good price point for a starter rifle. This is dressed up real well, and it's got solid Aero Precision receivers on it. And then, of course, I'm guessing that the barrel on this rifle is from the new partnership that they've developed
Ballistic Advantage.
Mm-hmm.
Is that it?
I'm guessing. I don't know for sure, but it would make sense. Anyways, so I thought I'd throw that out there for anybody in the market for a $700 AR to get started with, or if you're listening to figure out what you're going to buy your husband for Valentine's Day. $700 is a small investment to make someone fall in love with you all over again. Yeah, you just can't steal stuff like that every day. But yeah, so I saw that, and I think it's a pretty good deal. So, I guess that's it. So, what are you gonna do with your scar there, JW?
Well, I just found maybe 5 minutes before the show, because that's really all the time it takes, an opportunity to shoot another E Form 1 in for my scar. So it's going to become the SB scar at some point. I don't really have a plan for when. Probably want to get a 13-inch barrel assembly at some point. I'm not really in a rush, though. I saw the response from the ATF about the whole, do you really have to engrave your SBRs? And it just got me thinking, well, okay, well, why don't I SBR more things then? If I want to be able to travel with them, then I'll just put the long barrel or a long upper on them, and then they're not an SBR. And if I want to sell them, then that's kind of a pain in the ass, but I could do that. And I'd have to engrave it. But until you sell it, you aren't really under any obligation to engrave it, so it's the barrier to entry to SBR is pretty low. So I just went ahead and sent a form in through the eForm system on a trust, and 5 minutes later my application was off, and who knows, maybe 3.5, 4 months from now I can get myself a short barrel.
I got mine back in 4 months. 4 months and just a couple days. So.
Yeah, my last one was about that time. You know, I've been considering getting a SBS and getting a 14-inch barrel for my M4, Benelli M4. Get the whole breacher set up. The
Nice.
only problem is that I don't think I'm going to enjoy the magazine capacity with the 14-inch barrel. I think it takes it down to like 3. It's like one of those servo mini shotguns.
Mm-hmm. The other thing that I'm kind of contemplating that's time-based in a similar way is getting a CMP Garand. I don't have one yet, and I know that the supplies are definitely dwindling. There's been estimates that by 2017 they're going to be out. So last time I was at the club, I had a board member sign off the form saying, yes, you're part of a CMP club, you're in good standing. So everything else I can kind of fill out on my own, get notarized, and maybe have a Garand show up at the house here one of these days. So just kind of debating whether I want to do field grade or service grade. I kind of like the idea of having older vintage wood on it rather than just a new stock set. And I don't see myself competing in the CMP high power stuff and really needing to squeeze all the accuracy out of it I can get. So I kind of just want a nice vintage piece for the history, and I don't think I'd mind one that's a little more beat up.
You know, they changed the delivery rules.
What about them?
You're not supposed to be able to get them to your doorstep anymore. Making way for the 1911s.
What? That wasn't
Yeah.
on the forms that I saw.
They
I was
haven't
going to put
updated the forms.
my work address as the delivery one, because you can have a different home address from a delivery address, and I figured I'd have to sign for it, so I was just going to have it show up at the office.
Yeah. The they probably haven't followed through with what they need to change. But the theory is that in order to get the cooperation on the release in the 1911s, they had to agree to ship through FFLs, which, small
Makes no
price
sense
tag.
because they're doing a background check anyways.
Exactly. Well, I don't know why they want to make you have fingerprints because you're going to fill out a 4473. Except wherever you get your stuff done, JW.
So yeah, that's about all I have in mind for builds or acquisitions. You guys working on anything?
At this point, I think I'm going to go back into one of my rifles. The one I tend to shoot all the time. And see about getting thinner furniture, maybe trying to lighten it up some. I really enjoy the way it shoots, but it's got one of the YHM handguards on it, and they've got a pretty large diameter handguard on that. I think it's probably 2 or 3 inches.
Yeah, I'd
It's
throw a vote in for that BCM KMR. I really like
yeah.
mine. It's real smooth, real comfortable.
They have something in the what is it? Yeah, they must have a carbine length, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I mean that's really the only thing that I've got going on. I've got um, the Lone Wolf upper that's chambered in 357 SIG because I'm a special snowflake. And I keep thinking I want to get a shorter barrel for that, but really I'm getting pretty good performance out of a carbine length barrel. I don't know why I'd want to cut it shorter. Because I have a Snowflake Special pistol that's got a short barrel on it. It takes care of that intermediate.
The other thing I'd look at is like the Mega wedge lock handguards. Those are nice too. The machining on those is slick, and you could do M-lock or key mod.
That's true. I haven't figured out which direction I'm going. I'm sitting on the fence. I have a little bit of everybody's stuff. Have you guys committed wholesale to one or the other?
So my first experience here with M-lock was on the Remington 700 Hunter chassis from Magpul, and I bought maybe 3 or 4 different attachments for it, like an offset one for a light. I got like a QD one for a sling. There's the bipod mount, and every single one of those guys has a completely different Allen key size.
What?
And to install them, there's like you have to screw it. It all comes in pieces. It's not a one-piece sort of thing. It's not like the mount comes out of the bag and it's ready to go on the rail. It comes out. There's screws. There's the backing nuts for the screws. You have to screw them together. They get really tight because of the thread lock on them. You kind of get them halfway in, tighten them some more, and then put it in. It was such a process compared to the key mod stuff that I've got. Whether it was just those accessories and how Magpul ships them or what, but almost all my key mod ones are like the same Allen key or hex key, and I don't know, it really turned me off. I'm sure that was just my experience with that particular collection of parts, but that's my experience.
Well, I've never had an experience like that.
I do think the M-lock looks cooler. Definitely looks slicker, a little lower profile, whereas the key mod kind of looks like you're gonna go do some shopping at Macy's or something and hang some clothes racks off of it.
I think the only problem I had with the M-lock is that there appeared to have been plans to provide some kind of a plate or an accessory that would allow you to connect your existing Magpul accessories to an M-lock rail. and they never released that. Now they released the other one, which allows you to connect M-LOK stuff to the old Magpul rails, which I can understand that, but I've got a bucket full of old useless, Magpul accessories because they won't do the conversion plate, and the whole idea of mandatory obsolescence just kind of irritates me. But that's the only problem I've had with the Maglock stuff, or the M-LOK stuff. So, we got Matt Kennison taken care of. We've gone through most of the stuff that was on the wall of topics for the evening. I noticed that JW, or JD, you put Mike Hart's inflammatory, I don't know what it would be, a statement up here. And since I'm in a mood, I was wondering if you were anticipating me twisting off and starting in on this. But Mike writes, manufacturers that you like to hate. He says, I know Reed doesn't have much love for DPMS, and I will admit I have no love for Colt. I'm pretty sure it's because of their fanboys, though. So, manufacturers that you love to hate. Who do you guys really not like? Do you love to hate? Anybody out there? We can be honest. Nobody listens to us.
I feel like starting to list a bunch of companies is just not in my best interest.
I think it's better to keep it positive.
I don't think I really said much about DPMS other than it's the only rifle I've ever sold.
Yeah, I think there's some companies out there that have taken surprising stances when push has come to shove on different political issues, and those are the sorts of reasons why I might steer clear of their products. But for the most part, if something's going to work, give it a try. If it's something that's going to fall apart on you, probably avoid it.
And
so
everybody has
principal disagreements.
Yeah, everybody has a bad day if you have a bad experience with customer service or something like that. So it's not like, one experience can lead you to that. It's easier to talk about the positive stuff because, the good relationships you have with companies, and the bad ones, just kind of go to the wayside and you don't do business with anymore.
Well, Mike, I'm sorry. None of the guys would take your bait. You see, this is the problem with everybody gets a trophy. I think this right here, this is the everybody gets a trophy problem. Nobody's willing to stand up and be counted.
That goes for you, Snowflake.
Hey, DPMS is the only rifle I've ever sold. And I don't like Glocks. And I think we can all agree that high point is something to be avoided.
Yes.
JW, are you going to be apolitical on that topic as well?
It's better than nothing.
Oh my God.
No, it's not.
I think a baseball bat might be better than a high point. I'm fairly certain you're going to get absolute reliability out of a baseball bat that you will never find on a high point. But that's just me.
All right.
So I saw one here from Rick. He asked scopes to use for longer distance shooting with an AR-10 build. I might have a recommendation for you here in a couple weeks. I heard there's a package on the way from Jason at US Optics for something that I might want to try on the SCAR here. That'd be a great option for an AR-10 as well. So I'm going to give that a shakedown. It's one of their 1 to 8 powers that has the front focal plane, second focal plane, combo sort of thing.
Wait, combo sort of thing. You have to explain that.
You didn't listen to the show?
I do not listen to my own stuff.
So you know the difference between front focal plane and second focal plane.
Yes.
So the reticle is front focal plane, so it grows and shrinks as you zoom.
Mm-hmm.
But there is a red dot that is on the second focal plane. So it stays daylight bright and very fine throughout the zoom range. It stays the same size the entire time.
Very interesting.
And they're actually placed on different planes to be able to do that.
So I see.
Yeah.
That way you don't have like a 2 MOA dot that becomes a 8 MOA dot.
Exactly. Unless you have an astigmatism. And
Yep.
yes, we know about that. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that, giving that a go, probably putting a YouTube video together for that. So stay tuned. I've got some buddies with other rifles that we might throw it on. So stay tuned.
Awesome.
Travis wrote in, said, guys, will the AR-15 ever be obsolete?
Will the baseball bat ever be obsolete?
Well, no, I doubt it. But is a baseball bat more reliable than an AR-15? So, you know what? 60 something, 60 whenever it was fielded. It was mid 60s, early 60s that the AR or the M60 was fielded, I think. That's a pretty long lifespan for anything. And I don't know. I mean, bolt actions are bolt actions. Trenches of World War I were covered up in bolt actions. They're still, par for the course for, I'd say, the largest percentage of, hunting sports. I don't know. Would you say shotgun has a bigger share than bolt guns? Or, I mean, even so, both of those in terms of obsolescence are, 19th century designs. I don't know that the AR-15 will ever become obsolete. It may just be that something else has more favor in the eyes of consumers. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think the staying power that has helped it is really the modularity. So even if you move to something like a powderless magnetic electronic cartridge, you could still put it in an AR platform that allowed you to grow and shrink the size, to add accessories, to change the ergonomics of it to better suit lefty or righty. There's all sorts of ways that you could twist the platform to still be able to incorporate some of those next-gen features. So I don't see it evaporating anytime soon. And there's a whole lot of them in the hands of the law-abiding American gun-owning community. So I don't think they're going away anytime soon.
I think that it seems to be the case that more and more manufacturers are able to exist in narrow niche spaces in the AR side of things. Stag has had a line of left-handed rifles. Stag would not make left-handed rifles and have entire production facilities dedicated to that side of the production if they didn't have people buying them. So now with the way that manufacturing has evolved, we're seeing companies come out and really be innovative in terms of providing for ambidexterity. Companies coming out and providing customized milling solutions to integrate, upper receivers into handguards so that there's a better fit or better suspension or a better way to connect a barrel. And when you do these things, you eliminate certain elements of cross-compatibility because you have to engineer other components to fit whatever the holistic approach is that you're trying to solve. And they're still doing it, so they must still be making money, or else they wouldn't be here for very long. I think that the industry is going to go further and further to that degree, maybe even to the point where you can, custom order features on a regular production run rifle, because all they have to do is drop your on-the-fly modifications to their CNC design when they put your rifle, your upper, your lower into the machine to be milled next. I mean, who knows? I think that wasn't that the promise of the home 3D machine, that everybody could become their own niche manufacturer? And I mean, yeah, if you want to create army men or toy cars or guns that basically fall apart after a couple rounds, but still with a CNC machine, the speed of being able to integrate stuff like that into design changes, I think at some point you're really going to see enough of those customization features just kind of, put on steroids that we may not see anything approaching obsolescence for our lifetime. So what? Is that like a mic drop? Is that what that is?
Sounds good to me.
Silent? I want you to know this is an interactive show. I'm going to have to start putting out a feeler for hosts that will talk back.
We've been talking back all show.
Well, I can't help it if I've had technical difficulties. I think my hamster's getting ready to die. I'm going to have to get a new one at the pet store tomorrow. But, so, carbon fiber uppers. So, I have not seen a carbon fiber upper. Is this a bridge between polymer and aluminum? Is that what we're talking about here? I mean, carbon fiber wrapped barrels. I've seen those.
Yeah, I mean, I remember seeing Christensen Arms last year at SHOT, and they had ARs that were all carbon. I don't know if it was just the upper. I want to say it was the lower as well, though. I'd have to check their site. I don't remember. Maybe it was aluminum receivers. But yeah, I could definitely see starting to use carbon in those sorts of applications.
But is that what it is? Is it a bridge between aluminum and polymer?
Yeah, I mean it is a form of polymer. It's just got some fibers in it, I imagine. So probably marketing some increased strength because of that.
So what do the Magpul mags have in them? It's polymer reinforced with fiberglass? Glass? I mean, isn't that the principled foundation of the Magpul line of products? I wonder if this is just a transition into a new materials technology.
I have carbon fiber lowers. I haven't done anything with them yet.
Whose are they?
Tegra Arms out of Utah. They seem well built. They're lighter. Everything I've looked at, but I haven't played with them much or put them on anything to shoot. So.
Well, that seems to be one of the other things that we're seeing a lot this year, isn't it? Trying to figure out how far we can go to make things lighter.
Yeah.
JW, I'm sure you really would have enjoyed the show this year, but when we got a chance to go to Battle Arms Development,
yeah,
there, I don't know what it was called, the low light rifle of theirs. I mean, probably not much more than 3 pounds, maybe even less. And it was phenomenally light. So was that the nod, Kitty?
Yeah, tactical kitty.
Tactical Kitty. Um. Yeah, carbon fiber. I don't know enough about those yet. I think we'll have to see about getting someone on to talk about carbon fiber uppers and lowers, and maybe have a little hands-on time with something like that. And so the last piece of Facebook interaction is Jim Rawls, who's going to be building a home defense specific AR.
Yeah, looks like he must have posted a photo there of his build that he's working on.
So, what are you guys' thoughts today on home defense AR? JD, do you have a home defense AR?
Right now, I use my Tavor, just because it's smaller until one of the SBRs is built. I'm trying to remember what episode it was. I think it was back in October. JW did a ton of research on ammo and penetration and everything for ARs and home defense. When you're looking to build one, I definitely start there as a building point to know what you want to be shooting or what your situation is in your home. But once I've got the trigger, the lower part kit's come in from Brownells this week, my 300 Blackout SBR should take the place of my Tavor as the home defense rifle.
What was that you were saying?
Ah, son of a... I looked everywhere. I mean, literally everywhere, and he thankfully, graciously, Reed sent me a text that they had him in for a second. I was trying everywhere, but thanks for gloating.
Oh, I'm not gloating. I handed you the big curveball. It would be gloating if I didn't tell you anything and I ordered 3 or 4. So, JW, do you have a lower parts kit sitting in the shop somewhere in the back just in case?
Yeah, it's kind of broken out into different pieces though, just in the buckets at my workbench.
That'll do it. That's all you need. I don't know. I think we're approaching the point in time where we've all had enough opportunities to get burned with some crazy, spike in whatever activity it is, that there are just spares of everything laying about. I'm sure that, between each of us, we've probably got half a dozen rifles ready to build.
I went a little lower crazy during this last little bit.
But yeah.
I saw that.
Yeah. You're not going to get caught with your pants down again, are you, JD?
No, not on that. Well, now lower parts kits are the things, so I ordered 7 or 8 of them through various outlets, so...
Well, geez, you just might as well get 7 or 8 barrels, 7 or 8 handguards, 7 or 8 stocks, and
if everything goes right this weekend and the wife's happy, then green light.
There you go.
Gotta get one in every color.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, hey,
what do you guys
appreciate
think
all the feedback that everybody sent in. I know we got some voicemail feedback as well, so keep that coming in. We'll give a listen to that and put it up. Facebook's been great seeing the photos. Obviously, keep tagging on Instagram. I love seeing those. Yeah. What do you guys think? About it for a Shooting the Breeze show?
Yeah.
Oh, we covered a lot of stuff. We could probably talk for a couple more hours, but JD says that he has to leave, and I think his mother has some tomato soup and a grilled cheese sandwich for him.
I'm just gonna
All
turn
right,
the other
guys.
cheek. Turn the other
Don't
cheek.
worry. I'll send you both a trophy. You're both winners.
Do you still want to hear from those Otis winners, Reed?
You know, I do. I'm going to give them until the end of this month, but at the end of February, I'm going to just have to call it quits, guys. We've really tried to get this stuff to you, and I know we've got a bunch of names, and you know, I'm going to get that turned around here, but I don't want to have to mail this stuff to JD and JW because if I start that precedent, you know, I'll never hear the end of it. But guys, we'll be here.
Joseph Dowdy, we need to hear from you, David Gonzalez, and Bernie Sanders. If you guys would like to claim your prize, or Bernie, or take all of the prizes and redistribute them evenly to everybody else. Let us know. And if you're friends with these guys, if you go shooting with these guys, if you introduce them to the podcast, throw something heavy at them and let them know that they need to get in contact with us before the end of February. And you got an extra day because it's leap year this year.
Except for Bernie, because he has the Secret Service detachment. Don't throw anything heavy at Bernie.
I wonder if he's going to share that with us.
So,
all right.
Yeah, I guess with that, send us any questions or comments to feedback@ar15podcast.com. Subscribe and listen to us for free in iTunes or over in the Stitcher app. Please leave us a review there wherever you listen so that other people can find us and we can get some feedback that way as well. Share your pictures with us over on Instagram @AR15podcast and with the same hashtag. Follow us on Periscope. We'll turn that on from time to time when we do some range trips. We are live on Google+, and those video recordings end up on YouTube, where you can search us and find some video reviews of different products as well. Visit us at facebook.com/AR15podcast, where our announcements, news links, things like that show up throughout the week. And make sure to visit some of the other shows on the on the Firearms Radio Network. Firearmsradio.tv is where you can see them all listed. There's some really awesome shows out there, and if you ever get sick of listening to us, there's some fantastic other personalities out there that have great info and updates on the industry and some very specific shows, whether you're looking for all things handguns or long range or reloading. There's a show for you. Don't forget to use our Brownells affiliate link at ar15podcast.com/parts if you're shopping for any parts for your next build. For anything else that you want to pick up from Amazon, please use our affiliate link when you start your shopping right there on the ar15podcast.com website. And yeah, appreciate it, guys.
Oh, and if anybody comes up with a SIG P239 short trigger, just send me an email here at the show. We'll get it worked out. Thanks. All right. Have a good week, guys. We'll talk to you later.
This has been a production of the Firearms Radio Network. You can find more information at firearmsradio.tv.